What's up everybody, Macrex here, and today I have a few things to talk about, but I'll disperse it into several different videos. There'll probably be 2 videos for today for Vega Conflict, but this is the first one. Just how overpowered is the Axis division over your standard stuff, or Xeno, or anything over tier 6? Well, I'm going to use just the carrier with the fitting it's had this entire time, the few ships, the Yellow Jackets, 6 level 1 Yellow Jackets. It can't hit level 60 fleets of the Scepter Strike because the squads can get on the enemy ships and can destroy them very easily. Aliens would do better, except for they have such a low health. You want the health in this case, you'll see why in just a second. But they do these fleets with little to no repair time at all. Alone, no escort needed. And this has no support field, no anything. These are all level 1 Yellow Jackets, a level 3 fusion, level 3 recharging projectile resistance shield. Everything like that. And something I noticed that everyone's gonna like. These were both within the firing arc of these ships. Now when the second squadron goes out, they're not gonna be in the firing arc. And because they're on these ships, their model counts as the hitbox for these little fighters. So these guys can't help them, even if they're within it. And now you have to wait for them to come in within firing range again. They'll get shot up, but they don't die. Oh, they took a bit of damage, but they'll kill these ships now, and there's no retaliation at all. And something else that I noticed, I'll point it out here in just a second. No matter what they do, they can't kill all of them. Oh. What is that boy, guys? He needs to be destroyed. He's getting too close to the carrier. And there's one barrage. But guess what? Free repair time. And I will touch on to another subject. You guys know what an assault carrier is, right? From other space-based video games that have cruisers and stuff like that. Cruisers tend to be a different role than what they are here in Vega, but an assault carrier role will be essentially the same. The general idea is that it has fewer squadron slots than an actual carrier, but it has weapons on board and a main armament. In this case, a heavy weapon that fires in a straight line in front of the ship that does monstrous damage to anything it hits. And I was thinking maybe Kixeye could give us something like that. Because would it kindle the player base? Yes, it wouldn't. It'd actually be beneficial to the entire player base as a whole. Now, how would it be beneficial to have an assault carrier? Well, for one, it would be slightly easier to transition from your low tier stuff to your high tier stuff, and it would give you a new ship that you can research, so you actually have a new body. But the coding for it would be stupidly absurd to build it. But should fall in line with other carriers. It has squadron slots. As it gets mark upgraded, it gets the benefits of them. So you have a Mark IV, it gets an additional special slot. But what I was thinking was it doesn't get a support field, because it's going to get a main weapon. What the main weapon would be, it'd be like the Javelin flagship's unique engine drive. The jump drive. It'd be like that. It would be used under certain circumstances, but not all circumstances. And you could choose to equip the main weapon or not, and it would have 3 separate ones. An energy, an explosive, and a projectile. Each one could be affected by the special, so you can increase the energy weapons range. But what I was thinking was each run's range would go up by 1,000 meters over the previous, so the energy would start off at 4,500 or 5,000, and then you jump up 1,000 for each weapon until the projectile is 2,000 over the energy. But they have a very narrow field of fire in front of them for the projectile, for the weapons, so it can only be fired when the ship is facing the proper direction. And something else I was thinking was give it 2 or 4 normal weapons for close range combat, and give it the firing arc of, say, a cruiser, so it can't fire behind it, but it can fire in each direction around it. And then for the squadrons, give them this firing arc of normal squadrons, they can go wherever. And before someone says, well, they can't do that because squadrons will be affected, give them unique squadrons. Give them 2 unique squadron slots and 2 unique researchable squadrons for the ships so that they can't be affected. Have it do it so that they do a special type of damage that can't be affected by the energy specials, the explosive specials, or the projectile specials, but it does a standard damage type. So it does energy, projectile, or explosive. Or have it so it does all 3 in 1. Just because you guys can. But the general point of it is to build a carrier that can be used, but not the way a carrier is traditionally used. Because it's not a traditional carrier. And while I was thinking for its stats and where it would be, it'd be researchable ship, researchable everything for it, and put it at tier 3.5. So it technically use tier 3 everything, including tier 3 carrier parts, but it would have its own special strong boxes and stuff that can drop from the normal tier 3 ship fleets. And what kind of stats would it have? Well, I was thinking give it a unique repair time. Not as low as the Xeno or anything like that. They were supposed to have that. But don't have it so it's the 1 for 1 second. Maybe do a 9/10 of a second. So 0.9 seconds repair time per hit point. Or 0.8. And give it unique armor that only it can equip. So maybe do it so it's a rebel special faction, so it's a unique rebel ship that has unique armor that you can research, that only it can research and use. Just like the fighters in the main armament. But the general purpose of it would be long-range heavy fire support. Now the range for the squadron. It could be 8,500 because it would be a mixture of all of the damage types, so it doesn't have to be stupidly absurd. And we don't want it to break the balance of the game that we have now, or actually make it 7,500, so it can't outrange the higher tier carriers' long-range fighters, because it shouldn't be able to engage them with its own squadrons, but it should be able to engage them with its main armament. Along with that, you could do it as a bonus unit, just something you guys can create and see just how much your development team there at Kickside can be pushed. But this isn't something meant for coiners or anyone like that. It's just a free thing that everyone should be able to research, that it'll be an entertaining ship to use that can be fun again. Something that isn't completely broken by being super overpowered. Or give it no special slots, but do not give it a garbage movement speed rate, or give it 1 special slot. So you have to decide, do you want engines, do you want a benefit for your ships, weapons? And then give it standard, actually you already have a squadron for it. Researchable, but we don't have a researchable carrier, so consider this researchable carrier. Where are they? I don't even remember the name of the squadron. Let's go have a look. What's the name? Let's see here.
Research.
the fighters. They're not overpowered at all. They're low range, respectable damage, and low health. They have decent movement speed, and they have decent flight time.
Sector.
So in total, they're just a tiny little decent fleet. But make it so it doesn't count as an actual carrier. Have it so it counts as like the Legion battleship, so you can have multiple of them in a fleet. But make sure it has a special slot so we can equip thrusters and stuff on it, so if you give it a garbage movement speed, we should at least be able to increase its ability. The ability to move and fight back, that is. What else? I think that's about it. And yes, this entire time I've been farming, it's 35,000 intel per attack. And this is all free. For anyone with a Paladin carrier and 6 level 1 yellow jackets, you can do this during sector strikes. I already have my resources. I have several weapons that I didn't have before I finished gathering the manifold, because I actually have another fleet fitting for you low level players that have only your tier 3 ships. I also have a few other things, but I mainly want to talk about the carrier, well, the researchable assault carrier, and what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it would be beneficial to low-level players? Do you think it would be fun for high-level players to play with it and just build it up just to have fun with it? Do you think it would be a better ship than the Legion? Do you think it would be overpowered? Do you think it should... What do you think about it in general? I want to hear about it. Let's see what happens down below. Leave some comments in the comments below, as always. Just tell me what you think about it in general. Would it be a good idea? Would it be a bad idea? Would you like to see the development team at Kix actually do it, just to see what they can actually do, along with their standard release date concepts? And yes, I call them concepts because these are not actual release dates. The fact that stuff's being pushed out so quickly is kind of alarming, but also kind of admirable. The fact that their development team can make all of that as quickly as they do, except for one problem I have is they don't test the stuff. It comes out way too powerful. But if you guys want, you can share this over on the forums and possibly even get CM Chris's attention to see what he thinks. I don't share stuff to the forum because I just don't. But see if we can get their attention, because would it be beneficial to everybody? No! It would just be something that's added to the game for fun. And yes, I actually just said they'd be added to the game for fun. A game that is no longer about fun. Well, clearly I'm having fun. And feel free to leave some comments, talk about what I've just mentioned in this video here. But that's going to be it for this one. There'll be a separate one coming later about a certain fleet that's almost complete, that has a secondary fitting that would be more beneficial under certain circumstances. I still have to wait for the last ship to be built. But until then, it'll have to wait, and there may not be a second video today, because I actually talked about most stuff I want to talk about, which was the assault carrier concept idea. Do you think it would be beneficial? And the tech lab is still just sitting here utterly useless. What is the point of the tech lab? Well, regardless, I hope you guys liked the idea and the concept that I've basically put up, because it would actually be beneficial, but it'd also be fun. If you agree, go ahead and look at that. Only a minute basically of repair time for all of that. Let's leave it off on defense. But I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Well, subscribe for more, because there's going to be a lot coming. And if you have anything to add or say about the assault carrier idea, feel free to do so below, as always, because it's beneficial. And if you have anything else to say, go ahead and say it below. Maybe just anything in general, just anything you want to say. And as for everything else, I hope you all have been having a pleasant day. But I'm going to go ahead and log off for now, and I will see you all in the next video.